All right, welcome back. We know you've had the opportunity to go over the different definitions that we talked about. The thing is that I want to cover there before that, though, is we know we can't have a definition for every behavior. These are guidelines. These are the big ones. With that, though, we know that we're also going to have several different discipline steps that the teachers are going to follow so that you can, one, get your behaviors under control. We also know that 90% of the students that we have don't cause any behavior problems or very minor. But for that 10% that does, here's some of the discipline steps that we follow. One, this is for all students. Teachers establish classroom rules and expectations. That means the rules may be a little bit different from teacher to teacher. And that is your responsibility as 7th and 8th graders to know what the teacher's expectations are for you and follow them. Second, teachers will give warnings and they'll have corrective behaviors. Some of those corrective behaviors may include assigning a detention or just a visit with you or contacting your parents. Another is teacher assigned staff support. This is where your parent will be contacted. It's very important that we involve your parents so that they can help you to make good choices rather than being a distraction for the learning of others in class. You can be sent to temp where your parent will be contacted as well. Temp is a temporary assignment for that particular period down to the ISS room in each building. Also, teachers can assign detentions, 15 to 30-minute detentions, and your parent will be contacted. Those are served before school or after school, and once in a while you may have the opportunity to serve one of those during a lunch detention. Okay? The expectation, though, is if you get a detention, you are expected to serve it. It doesn't mean you get out of it just because I'm busy. Most teachers will be giving you the opportunity to serve that tonight or tomorrow night, or they'll work with you if there is things that you can't serve it on either one of those nights. But the expectation is that you serve it within the 2 days. Also, your teachers or your pod can assign what's called pod interventions. Once again, your parents are contacted, and with that pod intervention, you would be spending the day in one of your pod teachers' classrooms. So that's another intervention that we have. Next step, which is one of the last resorts that we want to have to go to, is actually an office referral where you're sent down to the office and then you get to visit with myself or Mr. Graham or Mr. Thomas, the other two principals. And at that particular time, points will be assigned. And then the last one that's listed on there is a level 4 or 5 offenses, which will result in automatic office referrals. We have a progressive system, and with our progressive system, as you'll see in the next few pages, we have different steps or levels of points. But with that, here's the point consequences. 1 through 8 is a conference, mediation, or office detention. 9 through 16 can have a conference, in-school suspension, ALP, which is the alternate learning plan, which is a placement office school property, or 17 through 23 points, which is a conference, possible OSS, out of school suspension, ALP, and or a parent contact. And the last, which we have very few of these, is where you reach 24 points, where we go to an out of school suspension and possibly a long-term hearing or suspension or expulsion. Those are the worst case scenarios. We do very few of those throughout the year. The next 4 or 5 pages talk about the different levels and possible behaviors that would fall into each one of these different levels. Please review those with your teachers, going through them, seeing if they make sense. If you have questions while you are going through those with your teachers, you should be able to ask questions and they should be able to answer them. If not, please come down and catch Mr. Thomas, Mr. Graham, or myself in the office so that we can explain them more thoroughly to you, because we want to make sure that you're very clear as to what will happen at each of the different levels.